Welcome back, everybody, to the MMA Cult Newscast. I am joined with Kubhear and myself, Zach, and we are going to cover some fights from last night and some other topics that have been popping up during the week.
Right, so to start off with, we're going to talk about Jamal Emmers versus Jack Jenkins, which was the opening fight of last night's card. Pretty early card, honestly, but that was honestly a really good fight. I don't think the judges' scorecards were accurate. What do you think about that?
But statistically speaking, Emmers won rounds 1 and 3, and he lost round 2 again. Statistics aren't everything, especially in MMA. You only go so far with them, especially because those rounds were close. Like the strike differences were only 2 and 3 in some rounds. Actually, one in the first round, three in the second, and then it was a bigger gap in the third, plus the control time. Again, statistics
Yeah,
don't mean everything, but statistically speaking, Emmers did win that fight.
yeah, and watching the fight live, I scored all three rounds for Emmers, but the craziest part about the scorecards were, if you were being biased, yes, sure, round one and two were pretty close. You could give them to Jenkins if you were being biased, but there is no way in hell Jenkins won round three. But according to one of the judges, they gave him round three, which was honestly really shocking.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that he won round 3. I mean, 4 minutes of control time. It's no way.
But yeah, I don't know. The judges have always been pretty garbage, and honestly, someone has to do something about it. Emmer's got cost to win. He'll bounce back though. He's a great fighter. He has a ton of potential. He had a split decision with Giga Chikadze a couple years back. So yeah, he'll definitely be back. He's a great fighter.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Emmers. I do want to see him do well. I would like to see him fight again soon. Um,
Yep.
Jumping into the Trevor Peak fight, what do you have to say about it first?
Honestly, I really like Trevor Peak, but I don't think we saw him at his best yesterday. He is someone with a ton of potential, but he just doesn't know how to use it. He has all these God-given uh, physical strengths and power and a chin and the cardio. He has all of that, right? He just has to sharpen it all up, get some head movement going, learn how to strike properly, get that takedown defense up, and he'll be a solid contender. Because right now he is someone who just be taken as one of those entertaining fighters who'll never make it far. But he has the potential to be a lot more than just another entertaining fighter.
Yeah, I do like him. I do want to see him do good as well. My issues with him is that he has the chin, he has the cardio, he does have enough power. He has the willpower as well. He has the heart. He has everything to be a really excellent fighter. Besides the skill gaps is lacking. Like his defense is kind of, he swings with his chin up and out in the air. There's not a whole lot of head movement going on. So if he
Yep.
could clean up his technique a little bit, I think he could be a solid like top 25, top 15, maybe surprise some people and go even a little bit further. But it's going to take a lot of technical work.
Yeah, for sure. Not to take away anything from Mariscal, he did a great job.
Oh yeah,
You know,
excellent.
tough as nails, and he couldn't get the submission. He was trying throughout the fight, but solid performance, and yeah, it was a great debut fight for him in the UFC.
It was very solid. Anything else on that, or should we hop over to Brandon Allen?
Oh yes, let's talk about Brendan Allen because wow, I every fight I watch him, I see this guy get better right in front of my eyes, and he doesn't get enough credit. He is one of the most underrated men on the roster, in my opinion.
I do like Brendan a lot. I've been a fan of him for a while as well. The thing with Allen is people tend to underrate him because he still hangs up that he could beat some of the guys he's lost to, like Sean and Chris, and that he could beat Izzy, which there's nothing wrong with having self confidence, especially when you're on, was it now a 5 fight win streak against good competition?
Yep.
Like he did just come off a win against Andre Muniz, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Muniz is no slouch. Like he has all the reason to believe in himself to rematch those guys and win. and like you said,
Absolutely.
he gets better every fight. I love watching him.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know what's next for Bruno Silva, but he has not looked the same since his fight with Alex Pereira. That was the last of Bruno Silva we saw where he looked himself.
Hmm.
Losing to BM3 and then Brendan Allen, that isn't the Bruno Silva we once knew. At least that's what I think.
Yeah, he's I think he needs to get his head back in the game a little bit. I don't know if it's a mental issue or what. Usually, when we see a fighter drop off, it tends to be a mental thing, one way or another.
Yep.
Um,
And
I'm not sure what's next for him either.
speaking of dropping off, Zalgas Zumagulov lost yet again last night. He had the Paddy Pimblett cut, and he thought that would help him get a decision because he got he lost another split decision. However, I think it shouldn't have been a split because Joshua won that fight pretty clearly, and I don't know. Zalgas has reached flyweight is a division full of young guys, so I don't know. He's slowed down a ton. He's not the same Zalgas we once knew. I do think he should hang it up because he is not the kind of fighter I know to be on a 3-fight losing streak. But he's right now on a 4-fight losing streak, actually. But yeah, I don't know. It's really sad to see because early on, back in 2019, 2020, he looked like someone who was gonna make it pretty far, and he just hasn't had the best of luck in the UFC.
Yeah, Zalgus, he's had some kind of controversial losses, I guess. Not necessarily controversial, but close ones. Like, I don't know.
But
He could step back and reassess, I guess, and
yeah,
maybe find out what's going to work better for him. I'm
hmm
not really sure. I
yeah,
think he just
but
needs to reassess his mentality. Again, mentality is usually what causes a lot of drop offs or losses and whatnot. And just,
hmm
I don't know, try to more so fight to win, not fighting to lose. Those are two different mentalities, and maybe he's on the latter.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But in other news, Neil Magny is still winning fights after all these years. Catching all the prospects, the up and comers. That was a pretty close fight, honestly. It could have gone either way. What did you think of the scorecards?
Um, I'm not really sure on it. I thought Phil was gonna win, but Magny, he's he's really good at pulling out, not necessarily pulling out wins, but he's good at getting decision wins. He's good at winning those rounds and taking those rounds as he needs to. Um,
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
close fight.
I,
I mean,
yeah, that was literally like it was a mirror matchup because they're both almost the same height and their fighting styles are actually pretty similar too. So it was close. I actually gave the edge to Phil when I went to the scorecards, but not to take anything away from Magny. He has been facing tough unranked competition in the past 2 years. He fought Daniel Rodriguez, and then he fought Max Griffin, and now Phil Rowe. And I don't know. I just don't think he gets the respect he deserves. Yeah, sure, he got finished by Gilbert Burns, but he is someone who is never afraid to fight another person. He's been calling out Kamzat for a couple of years now. He fought Shavkat. So yeah, honestly, respect to Magny because I don't think he gets much props in this business. He's someone who's consistent, and yeah, he's just always there to fight.
and speaking statistically again, each round, excluding the total strikes, each round is very close in the control time, significant strikes. The accuracy is even not far off. Even in round three, the accuracy was 1% different, and then round two is 3%. There was a bigger gap in round one, but yeah, everything seemed pretty close. Even the takedown attempts. I mean, there's only one actual takedown in the whole fight out of five. So again, like you said, it was kind of a
Yep.
very close mirror matchup. It was a good fight.
Absolutely. But another good matchup was Onama versus Gabriel Santos. What do you think of that one?
I love watching Onama. He's doing good again. It's good to see. Um,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't I don't really have a whole lot to say on it. Just I love watching Onama. He's great. Um, did well like
Yeah.
always.
Honestly,
Even when he
I think
loses, he does
I
well.
think
So
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think the two of them, Santos and Onama, they have a ton of potential. And I can, I am so sure of it that somewhere someday down the line they're both going to be ranked fighters.
oh yeah,
This was just one of those prospect matchups that down the line, the results could be so different maybe 3-4 years from now because they're both up and comers. They both have almost the same records. They're gonna be big deals
it's
somewhere
entirely
in the
possible that we see them rematched down the line. Entirely
absolutely,
possible.
absolutely happens all the time. Leon Edwards, Usman, and yeah, we've seen it happen a ton of times. But yeah, it was another. Onama really needed the finish because his last fight went to a decision, and people were wondering what was up, and he's the guy who puts people out. All his wins are finishes, and yeah, we got that yesterday. However, he did pull the Izzy celebration out,
Yeah.
and I don't know. A lot of people have mixed reviews on that. Some people are like, "Oh, that was so cool." Some people are like, "Wow, man, get your own style." I
Well,
don't know. Paying tribute to Izzy, one of the best middleweights of our generation. I don't know. I don't think that was being a poser. I just think he was paying respect to a really good fighter.
yeah, he posted on Instagram a picture of him doing it, and he said it was inspired by Israel Adesanya. So I don't think there was any malicious intent to it. It was purely, I think, out of respect. I don't think he tried to do it to look cool or whatever. Maybe I'm wrong,
Yeah,
but that's my take on it.
but moving on to the heavyweights, just that was pretty nasty. What happened to Tafa Zai?
Oh yeah, man, dude. So did you see like the pictures of it where it was like close up?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I did. I did. I don't know, man. I don't even. What I was questioning was why they didn't just stop the fight right there. They gave him 5 minutes on the stool. They were like, okay, we'll give him the 5 minutes and then let him talk to us.
Well,
Every minute that was passing, I was just like, his eye isn't going to get any better. Stop this.
even the doctor said he whispered to the ref. I forgot who was refing that fight, but he whispered to him that he can't see out of the eye. The fight should have been stopped.
Mhm.
It should have been stopped right there as soon as the
Absolutely.
doctor realized that.
Yeah, that was bad. That was really bad.
Yeah, it's
But I
that
don't know.
knuckle went. His fingers went almost to the first knuckles on his hand. Last knuckles, depending how you want to look at it, but he basically went like fist deep into top of his eye. That was rough looking.
And these are big guys, that is that is going to take some time for Tafa to recover from, if he even does recover.
Could end up like
So,
Michael Bisping. It's sad to see.
yeah, prayers for Tafa. I hope he does get better,
And
does recover.
I've
But
seen some people say that that was malicious. That there was no malicious intent behind that. It was just he was trying to frame off the face. And stuff happens in the middle of a
yeah,
fight.
a,
It's
a
a
few a
fight.
few people, yeah, no, a few people, they were saying it should have been a DQ win, but it was too early on into the fight. 30 seconds in, no one's going to intentionally eye poke someone. What is the point of that? You know?
Yeah, what's the point of getting a no contest or a possible disqualification? To
Yeah, he's busted his ass out on the training camp, and he's come out there to have a good fight. He's not gonna poke someone's eye on purpose 30 seconds in.
Yeah, no, it was purely an accident. Stuff happens when you're in a fight. Trying to frame off somebody's face and put your hand a little wrong. Or they duck a certain way. It's gonna happen. Sadly, it will, but that's just how it is. Got to remember the sport that we're
Absolutely.
in.
Yeah, but you know, uh, Tafa's a tough guy. We'll see. He was still willing to fight even when he was sitting, and the doctors called it off. I don't know. Dan Mergliotta actually spoke to him after that. He was like, "You might as well live to fight another day than to fight a fight you might lose with one eye. And then that's when like Tafa cooled down a bit. He was a little heated, and then he cooled down a bit. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I did see him talk to him.
But
That was a good thing. Part. He didn't have to do that.
Dan Mergliata, that's why he's one of the best refs in my opinion. He's really good.
Yeah, he's one of them
But
for
moving
sure.
on, uh, Amanda Hebos versus Macy Barber.
I
I don't. Yeah,
I
go
did
on.
I did not think Barbara was gonna win, let alone the way she did. That was very impressive.
Yeah, honestly. Moreover, I did not think the fight would be that entertaining. I really did not.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a not necessarily like a cuddle session, like the grappling. I thought there was gonna be a lot of grappling involved. I didn't think it was gonna be there was gonna be that much work on the ground. That was gonna be more of like stalemating, hold position, keeping that there,
Mhm.
get control time.
It was really good, and they both showed a ton of toughness. Even Hebos, she got rocked pretty bad with some solid head kicks, and she just kept moving forward. And then in the second round, we saw Barber was busted up, but she didn't stop moving forward as well. And yeah, they just put on a really entertaining fight. Barber is finally looking good. They've been saying she's been calling herself the future, and it looks like we're finally gonna be getting there sometime soon.
Yeah,
Finally
and
showing.
did you see the round two strike differences?
I don't think I did.
So the significant strikes for Macy was 46 and 13 for Hebus, and then in total strikes it was 52 to 17. Those are very big jumps.
Sheesh.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It is. It is. And yeah, I don't know. Macy Barber, I still think they should push her up, push her slowly, give her another fight before pushing her into the top five. But knowing how the women's divisions are, she might just be getting a top five next. That's just how it is, especially because it was a finish. We don't see that too often in the women's MMA divisions.
Yeah, especially like ground and pound finishes. Those aren't really common as they are, but
Yeah.
even in women's, it's not entirely common. I think you technically see more submissions on the ground than ground and pound finishes.
Hmm.
I have no stats to back that up, by the way. I'm just just saying.
No, yeah, you're probably right. Uh, that was a really solid finish. The head kick and the placement, everything. Her striking looked as sharp as it has. Like that was probably the best version of Macy Barber we've seen.
Hmm. Um, Speaking of really good performances, we have to jump over to Topuria and Emmett. That fight,
Oh,
I knew Topuria was going to win. I knew it was going to be dominant, but a 10-7 round, very, very impressive. Very well done. He is
yeah,
definitely a future title contender. He might even be getting it after this fight. I would like to see him take one more just to build that experience for Volk. But
yeah. Personally, I do want to see him fight someone else first. I don't think they should push him straight to Wolk, but I have a feeling that's exactly what they're gonna do.
it
I
depends
really
on
hope they
how
do.
they're going to run with Vulcan Year and then Vulcan Islam because I know that they still want to. Well, I don't know, but they still want to do both. So maybe throw Ilya in there for one more fight, get him that experience, and then after, if they do the Islam rematch, they can do Volk and Ilya.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. I would love to see him against zombies. Obviously, fighting Max. I would like to see him fight Ortega or Arnold Allen. Maybe one of those two.
I don't want to see him fight Arnold Allen because I like him and Arnold. So yeah, anyone besides Arnold, for my own
That's
sake.
the thing. All the guys in featherweight, they're all so likable. They're tough as nails. Speaking of tough as nails, Josh Emmett, although he lost, he showed how tough he is. Almost everyone in the featherweight division Even in fights they lose, like Calvin Cater, what's his name, Brian Ortega. They got pounded by like Max Holloway, Volkanovski, but they just showed how tough they are. And I don't think there's a division which is remotely close in terms of toughness as the featherweight division, because the entire top five, top seven maybe, is filled with guys who are just tough as nails. They can take any amounts of punishment and just keep moving forward.
And speaking of closed up eyes like Tafa had, Emmett's was borderline worse in terms of appearance. I'm surprised that fight didn't get stopped. I think
Yeah.
if I'm remembering the round right, I think it was about round three is where his eye looked totally closed.
Yeah, and then round four was the 10-7 round.
Yeah, I'm surprised the fight didn't get stopped. There's a few times where it could have, especially with that eye. It could have been stopped at any point once that eye swelled up the way it did. I don't think he could see out
Hmm.
of it.
I don't think either, but he respected Emmett for moving on. He kept moving forward. Respect to Topuria to change his game plan up in the last round. He knew Emmett was going to come out swinging, and it doesn't matter if that guy has one eye or no eyes. He's going to swing like a madman. So Topuria changed up his game plan, started wrestling him. That was really smart on his part.
Yeah, I love Ilya. I have respect for Josh the way he handled the loss as well. And just that whole fight in general was very good. Everything about it was good. Sportsmanship, the Ilya performance, Josh's toughness, everything about it was just solid. I enjoyed that a lot. It was a good fight night.
Yeah, overall, the entire card, it was a really solid card, and I had a ton of fun watching. Honestly, uh, I can't wait for the next one. We are going to be seeing Sean Strickland versus Abus, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Um, we're approaching our time limit. Do you want to push past it a little bit, or do you want to cover anything real quick, like Musk and
Uh,
Zuckerberg?
yeah, yeah. We'll just cover Musk and Zuckerberg, and what was the other thing? Rose moving up. We'll cover those two, and then we'll
Okay.
say how it's not been it's not there hasn't been a ton of news this week. We'll just cover that.
Musk and Zuck is big news there. I don't know how serious they are about that fight. Dana White says that they're serious, but it's Dana White. We have to take his word with a pinch of salt sometimes, because
Yep.
end of the day, he's going to hype up possible fights, especially big fights
Yeah,
that might sell a lot of money like that.
exactly.
I mean,
Uh,
so who do you got winning
I don't
that
know
one?
though. I think the answer is pretty obvious. I think everyone at this point is siding with Zuck,
Hmm.
and why wouldn't they? He has age on his side. He has uh, experience. He has all the advantages. It would be a really big upset if Musk managed to pull off the win.
And
I
now,
just I just don't see.
um,
Yeah.
Zuckerberg has won jiu-jitsu competitions, and now he's competed in front of people. He's done that already. As for
Hmm.
Elon, yeah, speaking in front of people is very hard. Actually, speaking in front of an audience is harder for me than competing in front of an audience. But it
Hmm.
might not be the same for him, and especially your first time out. I don't think he's ever competed in a combat sport that I can think of. And if he
Yeah.
has,
He
I'm
has.
mistaken. But I'm assuming he hasn't as of this moment. So Zuckerberg has that, been there, done that in terms of getting the first one out of the way.
Yep. I honestly, a lot of people are, hating on this, saying this is a clown show. It's going to diminish the sport. This is honestly big for Dana because, why would he be against this? These are two of, some of the richest men on the planet. So, giving them a base to fight, uh, it's just going to bring in more money, bring in more eyes on the sport. It's big. Like boxing has been doing this for ages now,
Yep.
having all the freak fights, and so why can't we have this one?
I'm honestly not opposed to this fight. I think it has to be done
Yep.
right though. Like you can't make them the main event or the co-main. You'd have to put them I think it would make sense for the main card because that's the whole purpose of the UFC doing it is for revenue in the end, and that's where the revenue is going to come from is the pay per view. I think a pay per view opener or maybe the second card would be or the second fight on the card would be all right. Um,
Yep.
or maybe just make a whole freak show card while you're at it and just just do it like that.
Yeah. Bring back CM Punk, Mike Jackson.
Hey, get Jake Paul in too while
Uh-huh.
we're at it. Screw the PFL contract.
Yeah. Jake Paul's been doing really well for himself. He's set to debut as well pretty soon, actually.
That is a topic for another time.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah,
sure. But I do hope we get to see the fight. I don't know, Dana, like you said, pinch of salt and all that, but I don't know. I just got a feeling he might be telling the truth this time.
yeah, I think as long as those two are serious, he's telling the truth. He'll definitely do the fight as long as those two are serious about
Yep, yep, for sure.
it. And then
But
Rose and
yeah,
I don't Fior, is that how you pronounce her last name?
yeah, fear, yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
That's
that's
the
that's gonna be pretty.
I'm a big fan of her despite not confidently pronouncing her name. um as for Rose moving up, I always thought she was kind of like a small strawweight anyway. I
Mhm.
don't think she cut a lot of weight to go there to begin with. So it's gonna be very weird to see her at 125.
Yeah. Uh,
And Fiora is kind of
honestly,
a
like she's always
big
had.
flyweight.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. Rose has always had the reach advantage over all the other strawweights. She's not gonna have that
Mm,
anymore. So, that is gonna be a challenge. And I don't know, she isn't she her striking always looked as good as it did cause of the reach advantage, which she isn't gonna have anymore. I don't know how much of the power is gonna translate. Uh we'll
it-
see. It's gonna be really interesting. I think it was a smart time to move from that division after the frustrating performances she has been having. Better time than best time, honestly.
yeah, I'm torn on my opinion on this. Like it's obviously it's not solely a bad thing. There's plenty of good things to come of this, even if it's just a learning experience against a very, very good kickboxer. But I don't
Hmm.
know. I'm usually the guy who says like weight doesn't really matter, but it does when you get to a certain level. When you're on equal terms and or equal level of skill, it weight does come into play. And not saying that they're on equal skill, but end of the day, they're both very good and they're both have experience in the UFC. So
Yeah. It's honestly it's gonna be really exciting. I am pulling for Rose because that's just flyweight right now, as we spoke about last week as well. It's the most exciting women's division right now, and that was always strawweight. So it's great to finally see another division get some life into it. Shevchenko is obviously not at her best anymore. So with Grasso being champ, it's sort of open ended. Anyone could end up being champion by the end of the year. So I'm pretty excited, honestly.
yeah, I'm gonna pull for Fiora on that one. Nothing against Rose, just I like Fiora more. I've always have. So
I understand. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that makes
that's where
sense.
I'm at on that.
But I think that wraps it up. That's our news week, guys. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed, and make sure to be back next week Sunday for some more news. And make sure to subscribe. Join the cult today. Tune into the rest of our videos. We upload Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Sorry, Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So make sure to tune in, guys. And yeah, peace out.
Yep, come drink the Kool-Aid with us. Bye, guys.